Hi everybody, I'm Toasters. So today's video is about to moon or not to moon, and that is the question. Okay, so we're talking about the full moon. We're coming up for the full moon, and a lot of people think on the full moon that being a witch or a spiritual person, every full moon they need to go out, do full moon things, dance in the forest, do moon water, do some spells, light a candle and all sorts, and even more. But that's not the fact. You don't have to do any of those things on the full moon unless, of course, you want to. Because that's where witchcraft's different. Witchcraft isn't about control. It isn't about you do this when this happens. It doesn't tell you what to do. The universe leads you to do things only if you want to, when it feels you need to, because something positive will be an outcome. So, for example, this full moon, we're coming up for full moon, I'm not really feeling like doing a spell. And you might be, you're a witch, you're not doing a spell, that's not good. Because I haven't got anything to do a spell about. I've done all my spells, they've come to fruition. I really do believe they're coming, doing their work. I really can't think of anything else to do. I've left lots of offerings for different deities and the elementals, and I've been working active with them when I feel I need to, when I feel I'm drawn. And that's the difference with witchcraft. There is no set day or date or time. You can work with the moon whenever you want to. Of course, it's good to have guidelines because everybody feels safe when we've got boundaries, and the universe knows that. Everyone needs boundaries. All of us. And even the universe has boundaries. So, to moon or not to moon? That's the question. Are you mooning this full moon? Or are you just going to be relaxing, watching Netflix, or being with your family or friends, or just whatever you want to do? Or you might actually be, out there mooning, under the full moon, out in the forest, or maybe you just be in the garden. Whichever way you do it is the way you're meant to be doing it, because that's how you've been drawn. Listen to your gut and listen to your soul, because that will lead you. That's how spirit talks. That's how it leads you. It's called intuition. We should all be learning that by now, and I'm pretty sure you are too. So I used to, back in years and years ago, I used to be really worn out, and it used to actually make me feel a bit stressed, because I thought in my younger day, when I was a witch, and of course I'm still a witch, I used to think, oh no, full moon, I've got to get prepared. I've got to have these candles. They've got to be these certain colours. I need these crystals. I better get, down to the witch's shop and get them. And I used to panic. It used to be like, as if you were treating it as something like, like Christmas or something, or someone's birthday celebration. And you had to go out and get all these things and set up, and it'd be like that day, it'd be marked out in your calendar. I've got to do this. I've got to do that. No. And I learned after a long time, actually, it took me quite a bit of time, that actually the moon's not there to control you. The goddess isn't there to control you. Even the gods aren't there to control you. Just because we see the universe as an authority figure, or the old gods and goddesses as authority figures, often what can happen is, if you're used to authority in your life being, you do this, you do that, you do this, and that, maybe in your childhood or background, you were always told what to do, that would make you have this natural fear. I know it did with me, that I had to do everything to the T, or I wouldn't be accepted, I wouldn't be liked by the universe or the moon, I wouldn't be a good witch, and I'd probably lose that title of witch. And I've learned since then, that was my own negative thinking. That was my upbringing about being told to do this, do that. When I say do it or else. No, the universe doesn't talk like that. I mean, I even remember being nervous of the gods because they were men. And I was very nervous about men because men made me nervous, you know. I've had a few since a young woman, you know, relationships that were quite not good, you know, not good, and very controlling. And there was a very strong patriarch kind of, I was brought up in this very patriarch kind of setting, and men often, you know, weren't so good. And I think that kind of goes into it as well, where you think, oh, it makes you fear the old gods. I still have that problem now. I only work with goddesses, that you fear them, so you feel that, oh, I've got to do this right, I've got to do it this way. And then it even makes you fear witchcraft, because you're thinking, you know, what's happening is your brain is kind of mixing up this witchcraft thing with males, and your experience. And that's another video, okay? So when you look at witchcraft, try to separate it from your experience of authority, your experience of the to-dos, and those negative areas around trauma, or your experiences of negativity in the to-dos and in authority, because the universe is not like that. It may be of authority, because if we didn't have a universe, we didn't have a moon, we wouldn't be alive, would we? We'd be like, you know, extinct. Everything would. It is not like that. The witchcraft is a loving, kind, empathic, compassionate, gentle energy. And I think a lot of us forget that. And I think we have to learn that as beginners. I mean, I remember when I was a beginner years and years ago, I thought of it being this scary kind of energy and frightening, and it's not. And I think that's because, as well, you know, back, you know, in the ancient years, I remember there was, like, I was scrolling on TikTok, and there was that wonderful man, Ronald Hubbard or something, I can't remember his name. If anyone knows, put it below, but I love him. And he was talking about back in the days, you know, back in way back in pagan days and things like that. It was very patriarch, and if a woman was seen as being powerful or having any kind of control over herself, or being able to do something that was like, wow, okay, that was forbidden, because it was a very patriarch society, and it still is really today in some places, and needs improvement. And that would be squashed immediately. And we all know what happened then, don't we, in the 16th century going on. And that coward of a man, and, you know, can't remember his name now. I've got brain blank. I don't really look into all those witchy, scary stories. It's not something that people think is a witch. I go into witches' history, and I don't. I actually frightens the heck out of me. So no, I don't know witches' history, because I'm a witch and it frightens me. So don't feel bad if you don't know your witches' history or witch either, because, you know, I don't have made me have a breakdown, you know, reading that. I can't remember his name. What was his name?
Matthew Hopkins.
Matthew Hopkins, that's it. Not a name that makes my skin crawl.
Witchfinder General.
That's it. And it was all about women. Men were fearing, the patriarch were fearing women taking over. So women were witches, they were powerful, they were being able to heal, they were helping people give birth, they were, you know, giving women confidence to stand in their own power and find themselves, find their identity. And they were meeting up, which was even worse for the patriarch, because if they're meeting up, you know, really big things are going to happen here. You know, they're getting pretty powerful, so they had to squish them. And again, that authority feeling comes from that. It's through our DNA. It comes from witch to witch to witch. That authority feeling of that extreme generational trauma of the witches, where we fear witchcraft because we fear that authority. And that can be in our DNA, you know, even if you haven't had any kind of upbringings with authority or negative experiences, can be in our DNA of being scared of authority. And that's when, you know, all these things come together as a puzzle. Think about that. Don't not fear witchcraft. You don't have to moon if you don't want to moon. I hope you enjoyed this video. Okay, don't forget to comment below and tell me if you're mooning or not, and any of your experiences.